Okay, so part two. Um, what I'm saying is, I would start on something. Jay would say, "We'll do this," and it would be kind of like an overview. He would say, here's a good diet that I suggest for you," and then it wouldn't be clear to me. So I felt like I was constantly going to Jay. Well, what about this? I don't feel. When I look in Oxygen magazine, nobody's eating protein bars. And then Jay would say, you can have one protein bar. So I'm like, who's right? Because all these figure competitors aren't having a protein bar. I mean, you guys might think it's crazy, but when you're not seeing, when you get to a point where you feel like you should be seeing more results because you're working so hard and you don't, I think it's natural that I was looking at my diet so under a microscope. But that's the kind of thing that would happen. Or then I would go, and this is not to blame Jay or anybody. I'm just saying this is how this mindset got into my head. Excuse me. I would go and I would see Jay and I would just usually kind of tell him, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm eating. And inevitably, we would end up, especially recently, talking about something, and then and I don't think he realized how things like this would affect me, but he would go, if maybe I said, oh, well, I would have a Trader Joe's brand muffin, he'd go, well, I'm not going to have that. You might want to think about that. So then I would get home and think, oh, I've totally screwed everything up. I've had at least 3 Trader Joe's brand muffins for the last 3 weeks. It must be the muffins. That's why. So then I would come home and throw everything away and feel like I had to start all over. Or I would be talking to him and say, okay, here's what I'm eating. And Jay means well, but he would say, well, Kelly, when I diet, I don't have caffeine at all. So then I'm sitting there the whole time going, is it caffeine? Do I need to cut out caffeine? And then I'm getting home going, okay, I shouldn't have caffeine. I should do this. I should carb cycle. I should have this amount of protein. I should eat before I'm going to bed. And then I would come home and read someone's blog. And then someone else would say, you're not eating enough. And then I would know I'm not eating enough because that's what Jay would say. And then I'd have 3 people say, you should be at 1800. And then some people would say, oh, you're never going to lose weight at 1800. You've got to be down at 1300 or 1200. And then I would say, yeah, but I've read if you go below 1300, da-da-da-da-da. And then Jay had me on a certain amount of cardio, right? Then, and you guys heard me rant about this before, then I'd start to read things about whether it's Craig Ballantyne, who insists on only doing interval. Body for Life says only do 20 minutes 3 days a week of HIIT. Then there's some people at Lifetime, they're very adamant about incorporating like 2 or 3 days of slower, steady cardio and then intervals the other time. Then people were saying, oh, you're doing way too much cardio. And honestly, just all of these voices in my head, and because I wasn't where I wanted to be yet, literally I just got home and I was like, what do I do with that? And I was just changing something every day. And every day I'm getting home, well, I'm going to try to not have this. I'm going to try to not have this. And it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that anybody that has helped me or given me advice is wrong. That's not my point here. What I'm saying is that there are myriad different ways for all of us to reach our goals, to get in shape. Cynthia does not go with your typical bodybuilder, figure competitor diet of tilapia 6 times a day and green beans. She has a much, in my opinion, a much more natural, good approach than I've seen in a lot of competitors or what have you. But I guess all I'm saying is that there's so many people, and now the more I'm blogging, the more I'm out there, I'm meeting so many more people, and everybody does things differently. For me, in my kind of crazy state of mind right now that I've been in, I have allowed all of these voices and all of these, every opinion that I talked to was different. And I was literally finding myself coming home and, then I would talk to Jackie about, about Splenda, and I was like, oh, that's bad. And then I was coming home and reading an article in Oxygen magazine going, oh, wait, she doesn't have oatmeal for breakfast. Is it oatmeal? I mean, you guys have heard me. I was getting to the point where I was Jessica. I mean, I didn't feel well at night. And, I don't have a lot of groceries in my house. But I needed something to settle my stomach, so I had half a cup of oatmeal. And then I'd feel bad about that the next day, because I'm like, that's carbs at night, And it was just getting to the point where I was like, you might be watching this vlog going, are you out of your mind? But that's where I was, because I had too many voices in my head. I was trying to, in a way, I think I was trying to please everybody. I was trying to say, okay, this person said I should do this person said I should do this, and I'm not happy with where I am, so I must be doing something wrong. And, you know, I feel like everybody around me is getting what they want, or the results that I want, but me. So I just was constantly like, okay, no, I'll do that. And then, you know, I would get to the gym and Jay would say something else, and I'm like, oh, you know, and he would say, oh, I'm not going to have that. Why don't you try this? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd go home that night and freak out. Or, you know, if I would always tell Jay, this summer when I traveled, I came home and I said, hey, you know what? There were 2 nights this week, and I took clients out and I had wine 2 nights in a row. I have been very open when I've had anything that is bad. And I'm only saying that because, remember, we're all trying to not label food good and bad. But you know what I mean, something that is not necessarily on a plan for fat loss. So, you know, I guess I just wanted to share with you guys, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of experts. It doesn't mean there isn't one person that's right or wrong. These are all just different roads that are inevitably, I think, most of them going to the same place. For me, I just finally had to realize I've got to trust myself, and I posted about that one time. I've got to trust myself. I've got to stick with it, stop beating myself up, because my body has been through hell the past 9 or 10 months, absolute hell. And I just have to dig in and keep moving, and that's where I'm at. And it is hard for me. It is hard for me every day at this moment, because it's a slowly ticking clock that's getting me to you know, my body adjusting, and now I'm back at it. It felt so good working out last night, and I feel great about journaling, because I haven't been journaling in a book here. I've kind of thought, oh, well, I'm blogging, so it's on there. Well, then in a time like this, I want to go back and look at what I've done. And you know what it's like to go back through your blog? No, I want it in a notebook. And it's crazy because I hate my handwriting, but I'm going to keep it in a notebook. So that was a very long ramble, but guys, I've had a really, really tough time dealing with, you know, again, my body going through changes that I couldn't control. And like I said, as a result, I was going crazy and changing direction every 5 days, if not before. And I guess I've come to the point finally now where I realize, okay, you know what? All these people are fantastic, and all these different books are great, and there's bloggers out there that I love, and there's people in my personal life that I love. I have to listen to what I know works for me, and I need to just shut up and stop constantly questioning everything. Because I know I'm eating healthy, I know I'm eating reasonable, I know what workouts I like to do, and I'm not going to sit there and flip out because I came home and I did 30 minutes of cardio or 40 minutes of cardio, and then I read something like an email from someone, I'm not going to say any, or read something in Oxygen that says, oh, you can't do anything more than 30 minutes 3 times a day. I can't. I have to stick with what I know and journal it. And if at the end of 30 days I haven't made any progress, which I don't think is going to be the case, then I can question it. It's very hard for someone like me who's incredibly anally impatient to settle down and just deal with it, but I'm going to do it. So I guess I just wanted to elaborate for you why I'm not going to be posting my food, because I'm going to eat a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's it, and drink a lot. Just kidding. No, I'm going to eat, and I will share with you guys what I ate later, but I'm to the point now where I need to do what I need to do and stop asking for direction, and I need to just shut up and put up. A little less talk, a lot more action, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I feel good. I feel pretty good. I probably need to go back to bed and rest my throat and have some more hot tea. And that's that. I have a lot of stuff I got to work on. I have a big conference call later today, and that's it. I'm hoping I'll feel better, because it was very annoying to wake up again with a sore throat. But it's like just enough of a sore throat that you know it's there, but you know, I kind of am a little bit hot, but other than that, I feel fine. So it's like just enough to make you feel like you should be resting. I gotta press stop.